so happy we alive.
If it's possible. The question, are you aware of it, and what are you doing about it? See, what are you doing in order to get this thing happening? See, right now. So that the global grid, you see, will tie the world together economically. Then the next step, the fourth step, is the institution of a constitutional nation.
Okay, on the global grid, that just reminded me of a picture that
I should have brought a picture of
I just got in the mail today that was kind of interesting. It's the Earth at night.
Yeah, right. Now, see if you notice where the lights are.
Yeah, where are they? In the U.S.
Well, you got them in North America and Europe. You see.
Europe, yeah.
And then you go on over to India and China, like that. And there's some here down in Australia. But now you look at the places where there are not any lights.
Africa's not too lit up.
Right. No, look at South America.
South America's pretty bare.
See, and that's where most of hunger and poverty is.
That's an interesting point that you make in your book, that electricity, rather than being associated with increasing population, is actually directly related.
Oh yeah, see, because what happens
inversely.
is that, yeah, see, there's been 35 countries to eliminate hunger as a source of a major source of death in their borders. All right,
35 countries have.
Yeah, probably more than that, I would think by now. And so that it all is linked in with the advent of electricity, because they can refrigerate foods, they can refrigerate medicines, they can irrigate fields. You know, it is the component that is the underpinning of all what we now call advanced living on the planet. And so what this grid does is offer the planet an abundant supply, a permanent abundant supply of clean energy to upgrade the standard of living for the whole world. See, and start increasing the wealth base. See, like we got the idea that this idiotic idea about money and things like that. See, well, all they are metals. You know that there's a asteroid that came close to Earth in 1990. When I got back from Russia, and it looked like the remains of a core of a planet or something. It had over $1 trillion worth of gold in it. It had several $1 trillion worth of platinum in it. There was an asteroid in near Earth.
How did they know that?
Oh, it's a spectrograph. They bounce light off of it. They collect the light coming from it.
Wow.
And they can break it up into a spectrum. And each element has its own blueprint, has its own fingerprint, color signature. And so they can tell what these things are made out of. But there's a there's another asteroid in near Earth orbit. I mean, we have the technology to go there. All right, it's called Ammon. Now, these asteroids are not just big rocks. See, this one is a metallic asteroid. All right, now it is the smallest metallic asteroid that has been ever discovered, and it has more metal in it than has ever been mined by the human race.
Oh wow!
Now, the asteroid that hit out in Arizona 25,000 years ago. Well, it had enough iron in it to make 100,000 cars. So look, we have, you know, like all the stuff's here. You know, what's not here is, you know, what we don't have is what should be in here. All right. So what I've done is declared the world my classroom. You see, and anybody gets within 10 feet of me, well, this is the conversation.
Right. And now back to the fourth element.
Oh, the constitutional nation.
Right.
All right. Well, that's what we're dealing with here. Is that we are not whites and blacks. We're not Russians and Americans and Iraqis or whatever you want to call yourself. You see, we have a very tribal level of identifying ourselves. What we are is one representation of the human life energy that is in this universe. See, like I said, that we now know that we're just a local example of a general process. All right. There's one guy in 1957 during the International Geophysical Year came up with a calculation of the elements that would have to be in existence to produce a planet like ours. And the estimate was 100 million in this galaxy. All right, wow. And we know of billions and billions and billions of galaxies. So yeah, the whole idea is that we now know the process by some of the process by which life originates on the planet, or what's necessary for it. And so it obviously has happened here. And I don't know, Bertrand Russell says that if there is intelligent life in the universe, they're using Earth as an insane asylum. So if you look around, you might think that. But at any rate, we're just a local example of a general phenomenon, all right? And so that all these constructs have now become, as it were created, that politics and economics and everything have now reached their end of viability. And so we need a political, social, and economic structure that reflects our true existence here. See, we do not live on a planet of scarce resources in a competitive state of struggle. See, we live in a universe of abundance, and in cooperation, we can all have it. See, it's like Bucky says, we can now create wealth at the same level we have air. See, so I don't worry about how much air you breathe. I don't worry about how much air anybody breathes. I just know there's a system out there, all these nice little bushes and trees, that's just cranking out oxygen as much as they can. All right, so that we now have the ability to put a silver spoon, a golden spoon, you know, whatever, in every child's mouth when they're born and say, okay, kid, I don't know about all those other planets, but on this planet, you have a political, social, economic structure here to make you the best you that you want to be.
Talking about reminds me a lot of a song that I wrote recently. It's called "I Pledge," and I'm really delighted to have a chance to play it for you here. What do you say? What'll it be? Heaven on earth or catastrophe? Soon we will morph into one upon earth, mother of all, home of our birth. Soon every nation tossing their sword, our global pro-army can settle the score. Soon every nation tossing their sword, our global pro-army settle the score. Soon ever conflict cutting the short, new resolution from our new world court. Soon every nation shrink into states, powerful partners regenerate. Soon every human wake up to the whole, as brothers and sisters we let it all go. Soon ever human wake up to the whole, as brothers and sisters we let it all go. I pledge allegiance to the earth. I pledge allegiance to the earth. I pledge allegiance to the sun. Here we go now, kingdom come. I pledge allegiance to the earth. I pledge allegiance to the earth. I pledge allegiance to the sun. Here we go now, kingdom